Alright guys, so welcome back. As you all know, it is always about history right on this channel, and today is another day to talk about some illustrious and prominent son of the soil that have once graced the earth and which Africa has ever produced, ranging from being a pan-Africanist, a revolutionist, a leader, and name it whatever you can call. The story of African leadership and Africa and leaders who have sacrificed their life for the betterment of the people won't be complete without the mention and the talk about Thomas Noel Sankara. Oh, sorry, Captain Thomas Noel Sankara of Burkina Faso. He was one of Africa's most notable revolutionary thinkers who changed countless lives in his homeland and continues to inspire millions of young Africans till date. He's a staunch believer in pan-Africanist ideas, and the progressive thinking Sankara would undoubtedly make his mark on the world. Not undoubtedly, he has really did, because till date, Thomas Sankara is still celebrated around the globe as one of the best Pan-Africanists that has once graced planet Earth and the continent of Africa. He was often referred to as Africa's Che Guevara, just like Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, which was also one of Africa's foremost leaders, was named as Osage, for which means the Redeemer. Thomas Noel Sankara was often referred to as Africa's Che Guevara. Thomas Sankara was born on December 21, 1949, in Upper Volta, now known as Burkina Faso. It has been alleged that Sankara's parents hoped he would become a priest instead, but he pursued a career in the military. This is a typical African home whereby you kind of dictate what you want your kid to become, but they, on the other hand, choose what they think is the best for them and go after their own religion. Thomas Sankara was also not exempted from this kind of thought, from this kind of faith. His parents wanted him to become a priest, a religious priest, but then he pursued his own career in the military. He trained as a pilot, then ascended to the position of captain in the Air Force. Sankara continued to flourish in subsequent years. However, his political integrity and uprightness caused disagreements between him, the military, and the political elite, including Jean-Baptiste Ouédraogo, the president of Burkina Faso, and this led to him being arrested. Jean-Baptiste Ouédraogo was the president of Burkina Faso then, and his uprightness leads to him being arrested. A military colleague and close ally of Thomas Sankara named Blaise Compaoré freed Sankara from prison with a group of soldiers, but on the other hand, he was still the same person that betrayed Thomas Sankara and got him killed through the French military. That is not the direction we are going, but on again, his friend Blaise Compaoré, when he was being arrested, then fled him from prison with a group of soldiers, and once out of prison, Sankara and his colleagues overthrew the government of President Ouédraogo, and on the 4th of 1983, at the age of 33, Thomas Noel Sankara became the president of Burkina Faso, making him one of the youngest ruler in Africa and the whole world at large as at that time. During his presidency, Sankara worked diligently to eradicate corruption. He established an anti-corruption campaign. He went further by setting an example, because as a president himself, the salary he accepted then was $450 per month. His most prized possessions then were a car, 4 bikes, and 3 guitars, and a fridge. For a president, that was his most prized possession, of which then most leaders will have all the luxury the world can offer, but he chose to be upright and set the standard for himself, because change begins with me. So I think he's one of the proponents of that words. And then, as a proponent of education, he instituted a nationwide literacy campaign, which increased the literacy rate of citizens of Burkina Faso from 13% in 1983 to 73% by 1987, just within 4 years. such a very huge and amazing development in the educational sector during the time and reign of Captain Thomas Sankara as the president of Burkina Faso. Without foreign assistance, he did all these things. He constructed the roads and the railway system to connect different regions of Burkina Faso. He also had 10 million trees planted to prevent deforestation in all the nooks and crannies of Burkina Faso. And to fund this important project, all civil servants were required to donate within the year 1 month worth of the salary. Like, he made sure like everyone contributed to the growth and development of this thing. Like within 1 year, 1 month of your salary, working under Thomas Sankara as the civil servant in Burkina Faso, then just to like make all these projects come fruit. And this happened to the displeasure of the Western powers, who they were expecting it to come for foreign aid. And Captain Sankara was always IMF, which is the International Monetary Fund, with the saying that he who feeds you controls you. So he's always against borrowing or seeking for financial aid from the Western powers, to which they found it a displeasure. It developed large-scale agriculture and economic schemes to ensure his country could feed itself without depending on foreign aid. According to Thomas Sankara, he said, "Our country produces enough to feed us all. Alas, for lack of organization, we are forced to beg for food aid." It's this aid that instills in our spirit the attitudes of beggars, because to Sankara, it feels like the Western world sees them as inferior and they can't do without them coming to them to beg, and he sees it as an insult to the general black race. So he is working tooth and nail to make sure that Burkina Faso and Africa at large is independent from the Western world to seek for financial aid or whatever aid it is to like keep themselves going. And on the health front, to eliminate high infant mortality rates, Thomas Sankara developed a program called Vaccination Commando, which immunized young children against preventable diseases such as measles, yellow fever, meningitis. And within a span of 15 days, over 2.5 million children were vaccinated. All this while he was a military ruler, not a dictator, as the world probably might make us seem to believe. And on the 22nd of September 1984, noting the daily plight of women, Sankara established a day of solidarity whereby men purchased food items and cooked meals for the families for the day, and solidarity of women to recognize what women have been doing, the part of women in the society. He established a day for men to take over the duties and roles of their wives and their women in the house, cook, go to the market, buy items and everything that made the family happy. That's part of his policies then as president of Burkina Faso. He hoped the existence would bolster men's understanding of the daily hardships women experience. And in support of women's rights, Sankara also repudiated female genital mutilation, forced marriage, and polygamy. Like, he was strongly against genital mutilation, forced marriage, like in Burkina Faso during the time of Thomas Sankara, which is very peculiar to African countries with some kind of forced marriage or arranged marriage. He found it as a no, because he believed in let love lead and love marriage and that, and as well polygamy. He was so against it. During 1 year anniversary of his presidency, Thomas Sankara changed the name of his country, Upper Volta, to Burkina Faso, which means land of upright people. A keen observer of his role and leadership in Burkina Faso and Africa internationally, Sankara refused to have his picture displayed in public setting. When asked, he responded by stating, "There are 7 million Thomas Sankaras," referring to citizens of Burkina Faso, as then to know how upright and steadfast he was. And on the 15th of October 1987, Africa lost one of its greatest and illustrious sons, Thomas Sankara, and 12 of his personal aides were assassinated. The alleged masterminds of the assassinations were Thomas Sankara's closest friend, Compaoré, and the government of France. This was the same Blaise Compaoré that fled Thomas Sankara then when he was arrested by the former president Blair or Ouattara, even right. And upon Sankara's death, Compaoré became the president of Burkina Faso, ruling the country for over 27 years. And in the year 2014, he was toppled from power following an uprising and sought refuge in Ivory Coast, which is Cote d'Ivoire. Our sons and daughters of Africa continue to mourn for the beloved son, Thomas Sankara. We hold fast his mission, vision, and aspiration to develop a better country for his people and Africa as a whole. May his actions aspire us to better the lives of our people and country at large. You know, it is so peculiar to the whites and kind of imperialism to ravage the African world, just like most Africans have experienced it, the likes of Nigeria, Mali, Ghana, Burkina Faso itself, to mention but a few. But then, including Libya, it was through this moment, it was US then that claimed the life of one of the illustrious sons of Africa again, which was Colonel Muhammad Gaddafi. That is not the direction for today, but then I really hope you enjoyed and appreciated this little bit of Captain Thomas Noah Sankara's lifestyle and his leadership role in Burkina Faso. Until I come your way next time, kindly like, subscribe, comment, and give a review of this video. Until then, bye for now.